Hi, my name is Stacy, and I encourage you to start taking action with Channeled Insight. It is Friday, January 24th, 2025, and it's just before noon Eastern Standard Time. And I channeled a few messages this morning. I woke up extremely happy, like extremely happy, okay? Giggly, just zany. And I woke up singing The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And I'm not a good singer. Know when to walk away and know when to run. And I just kept singing that over and over. And while I was cleaning my kitchen and doing laundry and stuff like that, and I'm like, I just kept singing it. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna write it down and talk about it to others, because maybe the songs that come to me, and they come to me all the time. I don't usually write them down, but they come to me all the time, and I thought maybe I should start sharing all the messages that I get, because we're all here together trying to get things worked out and figured out. So maybe my experiences can help you. That's my hope. And then I started singing Down to My Last by Miles Kennedy. I'm down to my last, standing here alone. That's not the key of the song. It's a really great song. And I hope it's okay to say names, but I'm one of those people where I like to give credit to whom it belongs to. Unfortunately, there's a couple more songs that came in my head, and I don't have the artist, and I was going to look the artist up before I started, and I didn't, so I apologize for that. And I often feel like I'm standing here alone, and we always know that if you're in the spiritual community and you watch tarot, or tarot, I don't know how to say it, but you know you're not alone. You already know you're not alone. You have higher, loving, benevolent beings around you at all times. You just do. But there's a lot of times where you feel like there's people that you can't talk to, or people that you've tried to talk to and you're shot down. Okay. And in my case, I tried talking to my family about a lot of things, and they're like, that doesn't make any sense. You're starting to sound crazy or paranoid or delusional or whatever. Whatever comes out of their mouth that's not positive and supportive. And I hope to be one of those people that can help guide you through whatever it is that you're going through, because it is true agony to go through this by yourself, to figure things out by yourself. When you have spiritual experiences since you're little, and even going to you need counseling, okay, right? Obviously there's something wrong with me, because I'm different than everybody else, right? So I go to a psychiatrist. This is way off course, but I'm just going to share it anyway. I go to a psychiatrist, and I tell her some of my experiences, and she's like, you need to stop talking right now, because if you don't stop talking, I'm going to have you committed, because that's just, crazy talk. You can't just tell me things like that. Cool. So that was probably 30 plus years ago. And I'm like, cool, I have fucking nobody to talk to about this stuff. And it's not fair, because it's a real thing. It's being experienced by people who are not crazy, who are not insane, who are perfectly normal. Maybe I'll walk to, a different beat, than everybody else. And I'm a little outside of the social norm, and I do things a little bit differently than everybody else, but that I don't think that defines me as being crazy. Anyway, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, when to walk away and when to run. And then I'm standing here alone. Those were the key phrases that stayed in my head this morning. There's just a couple more messages. I'm very wordy because I'm very excited to share the things that I learn as I learn them. And I've been quiet for so long that it's just exciting to go ahead and start sharing. So those are the message. I was also playing a game on my phone, And it doesn't matter the game. It was a word game, like a puzzle type thing. And I could not figure out one of the words. And I just randomly pulled the phone away from my face, which probably wasn't random, you know. But I randomly pulled the phone away from my face. And I'm like, oh, that's the word. And I figured out the word just like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, just the change in perspective is so key. And we hear it all the time by all kinds of people. And I know darn well that did not come from me. That's somebody else came up with that. That was not me. I don't know who it was. If anybody wants to quote it or anything, please let me know. I would love to know who. I love knowledge, right? So I would love to know who coined those phrases. If I can't give it to you, I definitely want to know. But a simple change in perspective, and all I did was, like I said, I had my phone right here, and all I did was pull it way far, like arm's length away from my face, and boom, it just came to me. It made sense. I figured it out, and I was like, oh, that's really weird. I guess kind of, you know, ironic that the change in perspective is it can be that small. It can be that small to resolve something. I was shocked. But I woke up, I wrote down, I woke up giggly and uber happy, because that's how I woke up, and super silly and zany. I was giggling and laughing. I live alone, you guys, I live alone. And that's how I woke up. And I was just crazy, crazy, crazy. And then I had a sudden bout of feeling like I was on fire, like literally my body was on fire. And this happens a lot. It's been happening a lot over the last 3 or 4 years, I'd say. And it's like, what's the name of that movie? The Fantastic Four or something like that, or whatever. It's a superhero movie. And one of the characters, like turns into an inferno, and that's what it feels like. It's exactly what it feels, and I think about that movie every time my body feels that way. But nevertheless, I started singing the song, "She's walking on fire, this girl is on fire." And I don't really know if that is really about me. I think I'm just learning how to interpret the spiritual messages, the things that you know, passed on loved ones or ascended masters would like me to share with everybody else. So I think that's where that came about. So that's that part of it. The other message is, messages are 2 deer showed up in my view, and I didn't have my glasses on. So seeing far away, I didn't have my contacts in like I do now. I can't really see very far away, but there was movement, and I know what deer movement looks like. I mean, I love deer, okay? So I just love them. And I was like, well, you know, I know that dogs around town, around the neighborhood, and it wasn't a dog. And the movement caught my earthy tone, caught my attention. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering again, because I'm super excited to share this. Caught my attention, and there were just 2, and I was like, well, that's interesting. And deer, like I said, they're, you know, in the spiritual world, they have divine meaning and a divine interpretation, which I might try to find it for you and tell you what it is, but I'm being guided not to at this time, because it's not the point. Okay, it's not the point of the thing. I just wanted to share that with you, that, you know, when you see the movement, you can totally not actually have clarity of what you're seeing. You're just seeing the movement. And of course, I went and reached for my glasses, and I put them on. I'm like, oh, it's deer, which is never going to get old. I've lived in the country, and I've seen deer my whole life, but it never gets old. It just doesn't. Because I'm an animal lover, especially wild animals. I just am. I just love it. It's important to me. So then I looked at the clock right after that, and the numbers were 911, 911, which it automatically has a negative connotation to it. But to me, I see it as, and in this particular sense, it was meant as pay attention to your surroundings. So, excuse me, immediately I got up and I went looking for my cats, because sometimes they get into trouble, sometimes they get in places where they're, they shouldn't be, where it's unsafe, and or whatever. And so I just started paying attention to my surroundings, and I didn't really see anything. Oh, I didn't see anything else other than there was a third deer there. And I had posted, I think one of my very first video yesterday, and I'm not sure if it's been approved yet or not, but I had posted my first video where I was talking about the number 3, and I was like, well, that's really nice confirmation that there's a number 3 there, and that everything does happen in divine timing, and you do have to have faith. You have to have faith, and you have to keep hoping, you have to keep believing, and just knowing that there's divine timing in everything, and that's just the way it is. So have fun until then, if you can muster it. And then shortly after that, just randomly, had a bunch of random things that happened. My throat got clogged, and I was like, you've got to be, why is my throat like randomly clogged? All I had was coffee. I think I hadn't eaten or anything yet, and I'm like, that's weird for my throat to just randomly be clogged. And I had been singing playfully, being wacky and zany, wacky and zany, crazy, silly. And all of a sudden my throat's clogged, and I'm like, somebody doesn't want me to sing, and that's too bad, because I'm going to keep singing. And so I just kept clearing my throat and drinking more liquids, and trying to soothe that through. That might not be the correct interpretation, but that's just how it seemed at the time for my throat to just randomly clog. I need to slow down. Like I said, I'm really excited, and I had 1.5 cups of coffee. Not a good idea, because it gets me all crazy. Okay, I'm already crazy. So, and then right after my throat clogged randomly, and I kind of cleared it up, my mind was kind of scattered. I went to look at the date on my phone, and I ended up looking at the battery life instead, where it's, it said 96%. And I was like, that's weird. Why did I look at the battery life on my phone when I was trying to look at the date? That's weird. So I just thought I'd jot that down. If my mind is scattered, there's probably a lot of people who have like a scatterbrained mind lately. And maybe somebody can share with me why that is. Is it something to do with like a lunar cycle, or the sun cycle, or the time of the year? I don't know. I have no idea. It might have, I don't have that knowledge base. I'm just sharing the messages that come to me when they come to me. And I don't know, it might all have a play. I know that when the clouds are hanging low, there's a little bit of a change in the atmosphere, and then there's a change in us. We're, those of us that are extremely sensitive feel it. And we know, we're like, oh, there's a change in the atmosphere, and now my body's being all goofy and wacky, now I'm grouchy because of it, and blah blah blah. And some of us can really identify with that and completely get it. And there's some people that they're just grouchy, and they're like, I'm so grouchy today, I don't know why. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because there's a change in the pressure and blah blah blah, and they're like, okay, whatever, so they're just not at that part of their journey yet, and that's okay. So there's usually a reason why, and it's usually like a change in weather, the change in pressure, or the way the moon cycle is, and I don't know it. So if you know it, please share with me. I would love to learn, and maybe others would too. Also, let's see here. So I don't know if I should share all of this, but I think I should. So I also started singing, oh, it's magic, and that actually might just be a commercial. Don't know where that came from. I would love to know if you're willing to share it with me. If you know, please tell me. I would love to know. But I kind of started because when I started going down this spiritual path with my family, I started with like, oh, there's no such thing as magic. There's no such thing. Well, there is. Okay. There's a little bit of magic in everything. Okay. So, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, whatever. It doesn't have to be all dark and dreary and, you know what I'm trying to get at. And if you don't, that's okay. But you know what I'm trying to get at. Being accused of witchcraft and of how is this horrible thing and which I don't really believe there is. I think there's love. I think there's a love side and a hate side and a light side and a dark side to everything, as well as to every single one of us, right? We all have all of those inside, all of that inside of us. So you can take it with it what you will, but that popped in my head and I was like, oh, it's magic. What's magic? So whatever. And then right after that, my right ear started popping. So that was at 9:17 a.m. So this is just, I'm giving you a timeline of, how quickly I'm channeling all these different things. So that's only 6 minutes from 9:11, the 9th hour, 11 minutes. Okay. So, very bizarro. So, shortly after that, I started saying over and over again, there's a new ridge in my tree. There's a new ridge in my tree. Ridge in my tree. And I just kept saying that over and over and over again. And I'm like, okay, obviously I need to pay attention to something like this. So I just kind of jotted that down. And I wrote down ridge. And then I immediately, the second I wrote down ridge, I got a thorn in my side. And I'm like, thorn in my side? I'm like, oh, thorn ridge. So I used to live in these apartments that had that name. And I'm like, okay, spirit. So this is my next level of my journey. And I'm going to share it with you because you people probably get this all the time. And it might not have the same meaning for you, but this is exciting for me. And I'm sharing my story, my journey with you. And maybe it will help you. Maybe be like, oh, that's what this is about. Okay. So, you're not alone. You have beings around you at all the time. Angels, you have beings around you all the time. And they're trying to help you. They're trying to talk to you. If, angel numbers or numbers that you see over and over again, that's a synchronicity. That's some higher divine power around you that's trying to get your attention and tell you something. So that's what happened to me. And then I realized that's a spiritual lesson to teach me how to interpret the signs. So I even, I'm like, oh, so I've been getting these signs for years, but I wasn't comprehending that I needed to interpret it that way, and that's also exciting, right? That's also a next level for me. But if you're already experiencing these things, then I hope this helps you in some way, shape, or form. And then I looked at the clock again. It was 10:33 a.m. Yeah. And then while I was showering, these the word random kept coming to me. Random. And I'm like, random? What the heck? Well, so I just kept saying that over and over and over. I'm going to move forward from that, and then I'll come back to you, and we'll come back and touch that base, because this is getting lengthy already. I'm sorry. I wish I wasn't this way. I started getting random ankle pain while I was in the shower. And then and I'm like, ankle pain? I'm like, all right, I'm supposed to interpret it. And I'm like, so I got to cut loose, foot loose, kick off your Sunday shoes. And so for me, how I interpret that song, because that's what came to my head. And if you I don't know the artist. Once again, it is from a movie called Footloose. Both are phenomenal, in my opinion. That's my, whatever. I'm going to move forward. I'm being told to move forward. I have to kick off my Sunday shoes. Not that, it's just saying that everything you learned up until this point has been phenomenal. You learned what you're supposed to learn, and now it's time to let your hair down, kick off your Sunday shoes, relax and live a little and just flow. Let this message that I'm sharing flow. Now you see that I was very, very excited and not so animated or even anything, but I'm trying to be more in the flow of, life and sharing my messages that I'm getting. And I hope it helps people. And I might be way, way behind. People might be like, girl, we already figured that out a long time ago. You're like just on the, I don't know. But there might be people that I need to lead. I don't know. So I won't know until, hindsight, because that's how everything works. But that song came to my head. I was like, that's how I interpreted those kick off your Sunday shoes. I don't know all the words to the song. Those specific small phrases popped in my head and stayed there due to random ankle pain. And then once I started singing that song and interpreted what it was trying to say to me, and the ankle pain went away. So I must be on point. And then at 11:09, I was like, do I need to share all this? Is this something you want me to share? And yes, it was. It's something I was supposed to share. And then I do believe that this could be about me. It's not about me. I do believe there is a female in the collective that is in touch with her masculine side, and she's struggling. That is the message I got. And the reason why I got this is because I was writing, in a purple pen. And for me, usually purple is purple. There is no in between. It's not blue. It's not red. It's purple. Okay. But the purple seems blue to me. And typically, men see colors a little bit different than women. No, not my plant, please. Thank you. Sorry, my cat's in my plant. Men see colors a little bit different than women. So how I interpreted that is there's a female in the collective who's more in touch with her masculine side than her feminine side, and there's nothing wrong with that, but she's struggling a little bit. These messages might be for you. That's how I'm interpreting this. And hopefully I can help you while I'm struggling in my journey and as well. And then some random accents I was saying out loud were Southern, British, and it's not an accent, but baby talk. So these random things that I was talking in these accents, and I was talking in baby talk. And I wish I do on occasion, but usually there's a reason why I'm doing it, and I don't always know why. But it comes later. I'm like, oh, that's why I was talking Southern. Oh, that's why I was talking baby talk. Oh, that's why, you know what I mean? There's reasons why things like that happen. And so I just thought that since I'm sharing, maybe there's someone with these distinguishing traits that this might help. Maybe like, oh, like it might be like, can you please not eat my butterfly? No, thank you. No. Okay, he just clawed me. It's the fight. It's not worth the fight. Random feelings, which I think I already talked about, were wacky, zany. I mean, wacky, zany is an understatement. That's exactly how I was feeling. All sorts of cuckoo sounding. If anybody ever can see me or hear me, I'm a little embarrassed in advance because it just flies out of me. I don't know where it comes from. Laughing. Like I said, I live alone. Laughing a lot. Super giggly. I don't even know why I'm laughing. I'm just laughing uncontrollably. No clue. I'm not watching TV. I'm not listening to music. I'm just laughing uncontrollably. Silly, goofy. And I'm typically like that anyway when I'm in a really good mood. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just I think I'm just channeling. And then to end my random messages for today at 11:11, I was like, I'm just look at the clock real quick before and I'm going to pull some cards. I was guided to go ahead and pull some cards. I just kept saying, thank you over and over nonstop. Just thank you. The 11:11 thing, how my spiritual awakening started for me a long time ago, I started seeing 11s everywhere. 11 everywhere, on jerseys, on coffee cups, you name it, 11 everywhere. And I'm like, that's gotta mean something. What's this 11 crap that I'm seeing all over the place? It's gotta mean something, you know. It just has to. And I was just like, just this doesn't make it. Everything 11. You're, you know, go through drive-through and it's 11. And I'm like, sweet. And I didn't know. I saw it for a long time before I, you know, started looking into it. Or I went to a party one time and there was a surprise. I didn't know. They probably didn't tell me because they knew that if it was a little askew from the norm, I wouldn't go, right? But there's a numerologist there, and I was like, and then I'm like, oh, there's such thing as numerology? Like, what? So, you know, you learn step by step, you learn stuff along the way, and you're like, this is really cool. And I don't actually study numerology, but the things that the numerologist told me, described me to a T, I was like, what? Are you serious? This is the coolest thing ever. Because I love knowledge and I love learning new things, and I like to learn more about me whenever possible, right? I just think it's fun, it's intriguing, and it's like, how could you possibly know this about me? She's like, well, I pulled your numbers. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean you pulled my numbers? And she's like, everything is math, you know? And I'm like, what? So it was just a very cool experience. And I was guided to go ahead and pull cards today. There we go. So just whenever some cards just randomly pull out, it's like you kind of have to acknowledge. So thank you very much. I prefer to stuff just, is that it? I prefer to stuff just falls out while I'm talking, because then I kind of feel like, and I cannot stand when people just blah, 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 flap their yap to fill up space, right? I'm doing it right now. It's good times. Not really, because it's one of my pet peeves. So that means I kind of annoy myself a little bit. That doesn't sound right either. All right. Oh my golly gee. All right. Do I need these two? I mean, seriously, that's a lot of number cards. I wasn't really, oh my God. These as well? Oh, okay. So, again, this is just not just for me. Okay, that's it. Yes, that's it. Okay. Jeez Louise, that's a lot of cards. So I got 8, 9, 6, reverse. And then I've got reverse again, 4, 5. And then I got 2 and 6. Now that's a lot of numbers. And I don't really know how to interpret this. And I know, like, this is like way too much. Just way too much. I don't know if I'm... Spirit's like, go for it. You are ready. So I'm going to show you what I've got. Hopefully. I don't know. I don't know if you got it or not. But that's what fell out. So 8, 9, and 6. It's saying not to add the numbers. So, okay, 8 is infinity. That can be an infinite number. It can be a sign of abundance. So you've got kind of like the infinity. It's a sign of abundance. A 9 is an ending, and I just got an ending yesterday. And honestly, for me, I've been really, my emotions have been literally a roller coaster. Like the wildest, longest roller coaster you can imagine. So a couple days ago, 3 days ago, we're going to do the last 3 days. Day 1 and 2 of the last 3 days, I was angry. Livid, angry, dark. It was a very dark place. And then at the end of those 2 days, I was kind of like calm, but not really serene by any means. No peace. I didn't really feel peaceful. Just kind of like numb. And then yesterday, I finally was happy, but I was crying a lot. And over little things. And so yesterday my emotions were all over the place, and I'd be frustrated, and then I'd be happy, and then I'd be crying, and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Like, what is going on with me? It just didn't make any sense. And I had done a reading, and it was a little over an hour. And I was worn out. I was utterly exhausted. And then I watched a tarot reader later, and and I'm like, why am I so exhausted? And I just was guided to listen to her thing, and she explained what it was. She's like, you're brand new, and I was like, oh my gosh. It's like, everything is spirit led. Once you start down the spirit led road, everything's spirit led. Okay. You just have to listen. So I'm being asked to move forward from here. Because I haven't talked to her. I don't have her permission to share her stuff. But basically, I'm brand new, and this is her words, not mine. I'm brand new, I'm getting started, and it's wearing me out, and that's why I'm exhausted. Which is surprising to me, because I'm excited. How could it possibly exhaust me? I'm absolutely excited to do this. I'm absolutely excited to share. Obviously, I'm talking really fast. It's not something I normally do. I'm normally a very slow talker, and it takes me forever to get to the point, and I irritate the shit out of everybody. Like, that's normally who I am. I don't know. So I got 8, 9, 6 in a reverse. So because the reverse is right next to their Uno cards, so because the reverse is right next to the 6, so there's a 6. When we're first starting out, and we see multiple 6s, when we're first starting out, before we get our spiritual hats on, okay, we are, oh, it's a bad number, it means bad stuff. That's what we think, right? But the reverse right after the 6 is telling me there's two sides to this coin. There's a light and there's a dark. So with the ending, the 9 being right next to the 6, it's there's a flip side. There's a reverse. We'll reverse it. So there's harmony. So there's harmony after an ending to probably my low vibrational energy and anger and all that crap, which is followed by abundance. So that's how I'm interpreting those cards, and I'm going to continue. So there's no. That's just how I see those cards. Now, fine. I don't know if I want to do that. Okay. Now do it. Okay. So typically okay, no, I'm not going to. There's like a wishy-washy, energy around me, and it's like, yes, talk about it, and it's like, no, not yet, because I don't have the full knowledge. And then if I don't have the full knowledge, and I'm not entirely specific on YouTube's rules, I don't want to do anything wrong and get booted just as I got my start, right? So the very next line, I'm going to read these separately because this is brand new to me. I'm being told, no, don't do that, but I'm going to do it. So I pulled these out how they fell out. So my first line is 4 cards, and my second line is 3 cards, and my bottom line is 2 cards, which is in fact a pyramid. It's an upside down pyramid, but if I show you the exact opposite, the way of where I'm looking at it, which I can't do it because I can't get far enough away, it's a pyramid if you were looking at it. But if I was looking at it, it's an ice cream cone. Okay, so it's just a little bit different. And again, it changes the perspective quite a bit, don't you think? That changes the perspective quite a bit. So I can either see this shape as an ice cream cone while you are seeing it as a pyramid. Okay, that's just how that's coming out. The first card is a reverse, the next card is a 4, and the next card after that is a 5. Now, the reverse is green, part of the heart chakra. I don't know the chakras, all of them very well. I know the ones that are pertain to me and the ones that I struggle with the most. So it's the heart. My heart is a little too open. I bear just a little too much, and I always have. I don't think it's going to stop unless I become jaded. Now I'm over 50, and I've prayed never to become jaded. Okay, I don't ever want to become jaded, but there's definitely something going on with it being a little too open. I'm being told that's not a bad thing. Okay, so, but I've always been told it's a bad thing. You're too open, you're too kind, you're too nice. No, I don't think I am. I think, like, maybe you're not nice enough. Why don't you absorb some of my kindness and put that shit back out, Moving forward, the blue 4, every time I see 4, I think of stability, like my financial stability in my case, because it's always been touch and go, and it's a little frustrating when your financial stability is touch and go, especially at my age, right? I don't really have anything to leave behind. I have no legacy to leave behind. I don't know how I'm going to be paying bills next month. There's a lot of instability in my life, okay? And there kind of always has been. And I still have this hope that this is just gonna come to me. It's just gonna be led to me, or having that faith that's just gonna kind of fall into place when it's supposed to, in that utter divine timing, right? That we don't like to wait for, but we have no choice. So let's have fun in the meantime while we're waiting for it, okay? And then and that's blue, so it's part of the throat chakra, and mine's wide open and clear right now, which is perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you. And then the next one is a 5, which means changes. Changes are coming. Or good job. You implemented the change. I implemented the change that my spiritual team wanted me to do. So good job. So because I implemented the change that needed to take place, I'm going to get stability out of it. It can be seen either way. With it starting with a reverse, the reverse card starting first in this particular sense is saying I'd rather you read it backwards rather than frontwards, and I read it both. Okay, so if the backwards is the 5 and then the 4. Okay, so I made a change. I made a change in my lifestyle. I made a change by using my voice. Maybe not so positively as I should or could be, but that's a learning curve. And that's, it's a learning curve, and it's not always easy to speak positively when you're in a temper fit. Okay. It's just not, even at my age, it's not easy. And then, so because I made those changes, there's probably going to also be a change in my stability. It's just being in the flow. It just comes naturally, just being in the flow, okay? And then the bottom row is a 2 and a 6, and they are both yellow. So 2 and then 6. And they are both yellow cards, which I think is the solar plexus. And again, I'm not 100% sure what everything means as far as the solar plexus or even the red one. I really need to do some studying. But if I'm doing this and we're helping each other out, right? That's called teamwork. We're helping each other out. I would love your feedback. I would love your feedback. And then maybe one day I'll remember. And then when I'm giving a message, I can say it. But I don't know. I don't know that I'll be able to remember. I don't really know that it's important to me. It's more important to me that we share and help each other in this journey, not just a me talk and you listen. That's not how I flow. So 2 and 6. Okay, somebody is concerned that I'm not reading these together or doing the numerology, like adding them and stuff like that. And I'm not interested in doing that at this time. I've gotten the message not to do that. So I'm going to read them individually. But if the reason why I give you the 2 and the 6 separately, if you want to subtract or add them, how it fits your life, by all means, go right ahead. You can totally do that. That's just not how I'm going to do it at this point in time, this stage in my journey, this stage in my brand new channel. And I don't fault you for it either. I just don't. I mean, a lot of times when I'm watching other people's readings, I'm like, okay, I totally got a different message off of that card than this person did. While they had something good to say and I appreciated it, I totally, boom, got a different download. And that's good. That's good to get. It's okay. We're just here to help, lead, and guide, right? We're not doctors. We don't diagnose. It just can be helpful if it's helpful for you. But I don't have a license in anything. I don't have a license in anything. So don't take my stuff as solid gold. Please do your own searching, your own whatever, research, your own opening your own feelings and your own heart. But I'm happy to help guide you how to get there. That was way off. I'm sorry. So 2 to me is, I always hear, I don't always know exactly what it means, but I always hear duality, 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 the yin and yang of life, the positive and the negative. So, but anytime I hear the word duality, I'm like, freeze, like it just freezes everything. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Well, I do know what it means, but I like, if for whatever reason that word triggers me, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what duality means, because I don't want to know, right? I don't want there to always be, I don't want to be the light in the dark sometimes. I just don't. I'm good at it, but I don't want to. I don't want to feel hated all the time. I don't want to feel everybody's garbage and dark energy all the time. I don't. I'm sick and tired of it sometimes, you know. So anytime I see the 2, and that's the word that comes to me is duality, it's because I know that there's something going on. Either I'm the dark and somebody's trying to bring me light and I'm closing it off because I'm in such a dark space I can't see it, or I'm the light and there's so much dark around me I can't even see my own light because there's so much darkness around me. It's that yin and yang, and we all have that within us. And then it's determining, again, how to, if you are in that darkness, how to climb out effectively, and how to know which avenues to take as you're climbing out of that darkness. What's the best route? Not the fastest route. What's the best route that's going to serve me as a lesson to come out on the other side smarter, more knowledgeable, more loving, more better, okay? Wow, I really went off on that card. And maybe that's the first best understanding I've had of the card. And then 6, again, is right back up to the top. It is harmony. So there is harmony in duality. Believe it or not. That's what the cards say, so I'm assuming it's true. There is harmony, what? In duality? And I guess there is. I mean, the guy that I'm talking to, I don't want to talk about him too much, but the guy that I'm talking to, we are polar opposites of each other. We are just completely different people. But there's a harmony when we come together. There's a, you know, one of us is yin and one of us is yang, but when we come together, there's harmony in it. Okay. I feel utter harmonious in his presence. That's just how I feel. I don't know how he feels. I've never asked him, but based on the actions and the words that come out of his mouth and the way he looks at me, I feel like he feels this too. Okay. And I'm pretty good at it, you know, figuring things out in the moment. But not always. Sometimes it's hindsight. So that's my ice cream cone, or in your case, pyramid, numbers that I'm sharing for this one. Are there any other messages I shall share today? There are not. So yay, it's under an hour. I can't believe it. So my name is Stacy, and I encourage you to start taking action, doing something. And whatever you do with my channel insight, whatever you do, take loving memories with you. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.